Synchronicity, and we're back from our short break. I was talking about the garden, how the serpent kind of snuck into the garden, made Eve, made a woman say that God didn't do this. And basically, when first we learn of the serpent's first lies, he's like a first of the devil. But the first lie the devil ever said was basically, "You will not die, or you'll be like gods." It's like he kind of mixes up the lies with the truth. But let's take a break from the garden just for a few minutes. Let's get more into lying. Like let's just say put it this way. Say you gotta be a witness on the court. You basically tell the truth all the way up, except say one lie. You're a liar. One lie. This destroys your whole testimony. Like, weren't you? You're telling the truth all the time. Are you lying? That doesn't look good. That's why we got on our Bible in the judgment saying, "Speak the truth, so help me God." But a lot of people, they kind of like twist the truth and all this crazy stuff is ridiculous. I know I do witness on the streets, and I deal with these people saying, like I say one thing, they be twisted it around it's like, what the? Because they're idiots. They're fucking idiots. I won't say it to their face, but you know what I mean. So basically, you can't tell no half. You can't say no half truth, no part truth, no half truth. Let's just say you know something kind of. Then, like, guess what? You're a liar. You're still a liar. A false witness. That's basically, that's what the stuff was telling a bunch of lies in the garden. Is like, first you will not die. God knows better than that. You'll be like gods. They're already inputting God's image. We're not gods yet. Until he comes a trumpet from the sky and says, "Come up hither." And we train a twinkling of eye. Well, that's a difference. Well, I kind of got off a little track. But let's get back to the garden. Like, basically, after Adam and Eve sinned, they saw each other was naked and made fig trees. And guess who's coming and walking around in the garden? They hear the voice of God and what they do? They hide themselves. Isn't that what we basically, when we sin, we want to hide ourselves. Like, blah, blah, make excuses and stuff. But like, they hide themselves. And of course, the guy don't know exactly where Adam was. He said, "Adam, come out. Where art thou?" And this is what Adam's reaction. "I was naked, so I was afraid." Look, and God's saying, "Who told you were naked? Did he not? Did you eat the tree I told you not to eat?" But guess what Adam does? That taking responsibility for it. Here's where the blame game really starts. And the man says, "The woman thou hast gavest me, gave me the food and thou eat." You're like, what? So they blame the woman. Don't tell us. Don't let a men do that. We blame the woman. Oh, You're the reason why I messed up. You're the reason why I'm. And you're already a jerk. The same with women. Women like to blame their husbands, boyfriends, or whatever for something they're responsible for. So, that woman you gave me some food every day. Shoot. Thank God you didn't have to accept it. It's ridiculous, isn't it? But then the girl, she turns to the women. This is what he says to a woman. Say, what the hell has done? Why have you done this? Guess who the woman blames? The serpent! Oh man. The serpent. They can no reason to for anything. Serpent beguiled me. And I did eat and gave it to my husband. Can you believe these people? Believe me, I'm not guiltless myself. I make excuses too, but I try and live a pure life. That's what a blame game starter's like. Then he turned, and of course, they gotta go after the serpent. It's like, serpent can't say nothing. And this is when he gives his judgments. Here's the first judgment. Lord said to the serpent, because that, and the Lord said to the serpent, because you have done than this, you're cursed above all cattle. On the belly shall it go. So we get the point, the serpent once had legs. This is kind of like a lizard. Strike it. Strike it, strike it, strike it. And dust you shall, and it also said that dust shall eat all the days of your life. Then of course, then he also tells the serpent, I shall put an enemy between you and the woman. Your seed will strike the heel, while your seed shall strike the head. Another part of his judgment. This is what he said on the woman. As I grow to multiply your sufferings when you bear children. You'll do it because of the sake of your husband. That's where we get, ladies, that's where you get your birth pains. We got some women that get their parts removed. I don't want to get into that. It's kind of crazy stuff. We do all these crazy stuff in the name of science. I like to call them the chop shop, the death room. You don't want to go to the emergency room unless you absolutely have to. In fact, if I go to stay out of the as long as I can. That's kind of getting off my nose, but I'm just kind of throwing it at the show. Just get the point across. Like when they bring forth children, you shall, and desire shall be for their husband. So that's where you get your daughter, your husband rule over. And he shall rule over thee. Like a lot of them don't like to hear that scripture. Man shall rule over thee. But that wasn't God's plan at first. He made men to be equal in everything. To make decisions and decisions. That is what marriage is all about. I'm not married, I'm single, but I understand enough about it. But then, what about the guy? What about the man? Will he get off easily? No, he doesn't. This is what God says to the man. Cause ye have hearkened unto thy wife, you shall by the dust of your brow you shall bring food. You're gonna bring like thorns and thistles I said bring before you. You shall have to work for your food. So guys, that's why we got to work. And we become bullets in the garden. And then God says once again, for dust you are, dust you shall return. She can die right away. He goes on to live several years. But God can't stop there. Then after God's judgments, he gave them skins and covered with lamb's wool. They were good stuff. But you had to kill some because they had to clothe them. And guess what? Here the Lord made proclamation. The man has came one of us, knowing good and evil. And unless he put forth with him also the tree of life. So that's when the death sentence began. God created another thing that created a death shadow that basically follows you, just waiting to take you. You might live for 60 years, 7 years, 80 years, or 120 years. Well, no matter how long, that's another. You're gonna die. Be buried. Can we do it? Then you know what? Remember having a Satan? I talked a few sections ago. They got kicked out of the garden, as devil and his angels got kicked out of heaven. Interesting, isn't it? First Satan gets all proud and say, I'm going to take God's throne, I'm going to rule the throne from the north to the east to the west. I will be like the Most High God. But then God sends the angels Michael to and he kicks down into heaven. Kicks down out of heaven, no longer allowed in there. So that's why he became God of the earth. So basically, Adam was basically the one in charge of the earth until he sinned. Wonderful, isn't it? And as time goes on, then God had to create in the tree of life, for no longer they had to go through all this stuff. Because they must grab a tree of life. From a tree of good and good and evil. And they sinned. That's why we all have a sin nature, friends. A sin nature. And when God drove out the man, he sent a mighty angel with a flaming sword to guard the tree of life. So no one can enter in. But there is an answer. But not time yet. Hoping the moon next time. God bless you.